Hello everyone, this is Amardeep Dugar signing in for the virtual lighting design community. We are at the Light Middle East in Dubai. Amazing to be at a physical event finally after all the virtual events that we've done. And today we're going to be starting our new set of interview series at the Light Middle East. And our guest today is going to be Ruth Kelly Waskett. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank
It's
you.
so nice to be here with you.
Thank you.
And let me just set up my questions. This kind of first time I'm using this device. So starting with the introduction. So Ruth, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you're here, and what your expectations for the Light Middle East are?
Of course, yeah, thank you. Morning, everyone. I work for Horley. I'm part of the lighting team. I'm based in London. My background is a mixture of engineering, lighting design, and a specialism in daylight, natural light, which I care very deeply about. And I was asked to be a judge for the Light Middle East Awards, which I'm absolutely honoured to do. And it's been a wonderful experience so far, looking at all the entries. And that's really the main reason why I'm here. But I'm also going to be speaking tomorrow on a panel about the circular economy.
Great. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you're going to be talking about in the circular economy? You don't need to tell all of us because we need to hear you tomorrow, but a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. So tomorrow, the opportunity is really to talk about how thoughts about the circular economy and lighting are being applied in the Middle East region. Now, this isn't something that I have direct experience of in the Middle East region, but I'm bringing some of the thoughts and experience that we have from our work in the UK to the panel discussion, and hopefully people will find it a useful perspective. In the UK, I think there's been some significant progress in this area. It's started to directly affect our practice, the way we're doing things. We're changing the way we do things to take this into account. So, I think it should be really good to bring a few different people together to talk about what they've been doing and what they're seeing, and how it's affecting specification, for example.
Excellent. Now, you also mentioned that you're part of the awards jury. Interestingly, even I'm part of the awards jury, but it'll be great if you let us know what were your key criteria that you looked at when you were judging those awards, because I'm sure all of us have our own subjective ways of looking at projects.
So I mean, my views on this are quite strong. I think that in the past, awards have been about wow factor and about everything looking amazing. And I just think that, these days, that's just not enough anymore. So it needs to look amazing, but it also needs to give evidence to me that sustainability has been taken into account.
Absolutely.
And obviously, there were some specific criteria that we were asked to use: innovative design, seamless integration, and sustainability. So I was looking for those three, but I think out of those three, sustainability was probably the one that I felt, I was really rooting for that.
Actually, sustainability is going to be the next big thing. It has always been a big thing, but it's going to get bigger, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, a question is, what is the future of sustainable lighting in your opinion?
So, I mean, what I'd love to see if I had a magic wand would be more holistic approach, because I think we've been fixated on products and artificial light for such a long time. Naturally, the industry has focused on artificial light because there's a market for those products and there are producers and there's a whole supply chain there. But really, what we need to be looking at is the whole building and how light in all its forms, natural and artificial, how they can work together to make a sustainable building.
Excellent, sounds good. Now, the other two themes are innovative design, and the other thing is about seamless integration. So what does innovative design mean to you?
So to me, on the face of it, innovation sometimes sounds like we invented a new thing, right? But of course, what it really means, I think, is that the design team responded to the unique constraints of that project. So maybe they had to think outside the normal box, if you like, and kind of come at it from a completely different angle and maybe just do something in a different way. So it doesn't necessarily mean that technology is different, but maybe how it's been applied. even the process behind how they got to the solution can be innovative. And that can be quite hard to get across in an awards context. But, I think sometimes you can see that they've had to jump to the left or to the right to respond to some unique constraints, and that could be innovative. And then the seamless integration, I think that's really about how, in a very superficial way, you could say it means that the lighting is not obvious. So, the lighting does its work, but it's not shouting at you that there's a fixture here. So, that kind of approach can be really beautiful and work really well in the sense of giving people an experience that they're not necessarily aware that the lighting is working so hard to deliver that.
Sounds good. Now, we are all coming back. This is the new normal, if you call it. We just come out of the post-pandemic first physical event. It was so good to go about hugging people and just get the feel out of it. Now, how has the pandemic changed you? I mean, in terms of your work, your working philosophy, your life philosophy. What are the impacts of the pandemic and the COVID? Whatever is happening?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is about where our working practices, where we work. So in our practice, what's happened is that people are free to choose whether they want to come to the office or work from a cafe or work from home or whatever it is. And it has given everybody just that much more flexibility. So hopefully that's beneficial. But I do think that we're now having to get to grips with what that means for us as individuals with our mental health. And I'm very conscious of needing to define new boundaries for ourselves, because previously your employer, if you like, defined the boundaries because you came to the office and then you left at the end of the day. Now we have to be disciplined, I think, about defining our own boundaries. Like, for example, just the other day, I had one of those days that I think lots of people will recognize, where I had a Teams meeting every hour, like back to back. And at the end of that day, I didn't feel good, and I felt frazzled, and I thought, I can't sustain this, and I don't think anyone can. And I've realized that I think we need to, for example, as a practical example, build in buffer zones between online meetings, and it's things like that. We haven't had to deal with this before, so we're all new to it. And I would like to contribute to a conversation about how we manage our mental health with this new normal, because I think it's not straightforward.
Yeah, I remember one of those days when I had these back-to-back meetings, and that night I had a terrible migraine.
Yes.
And man, I can't do this anymore.
No, it's not. I think we can't expect ourselves to be able to deal with that cognitive load.
Yeah.
And the other thing about online meetings is the multitasking. So many of us now we're in a meeting, but maybe we're not central to the meeting, so we're also doing other things. And it's okay, but I do feel that actually it's a huge demand on one's brain.
I remember that because I was watching the cricket score because of the match. India was playing an important match, and I was looking at the cricket score and, okay, I'm on the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with cricket it's different. You've got to do that.
Okay, so coming back to the virtual lighting design community, for better or for worse, the pandemic turned out to be a boon or a blessing. And we started this whole virtual community where people could actually interact and meet. What do you think this virtual lighting design community has for the future for our lighting community? Your thoughts, your ideas, how we could take this further? What impact could the virtual lighting community have?
Well, I mean, I think it's wonderful. I just want to congratulate you all on setting it up. It's absolutely fantastic initiative. And I think one of the best things about it is that it's shrunk the world. So, here we are, we're from very different parts of the globe, but, I feel like we know each other through our virtual connections previously. And the fact that we're able to come together every once in a while, it really helps to strengthen the relationships that are forged online. So I think having a bit of both is ideal. But I think one of the best things is about that global connection and the cross-fertilization of ideas that we can share with each other in the kinds of work that we do in different areas, because there'll be things that some do that others have not it hasn't entered their mind, and I think it's really beneficial for everyone to share that knowledge.
Great. I'm looking forward to have more interactions with this virtual community with you and a lot of others here. So now the last two questions here. One is a more personal things. So what is your inspiration? How did you get drawn into lighting, and what is it that daily inspires you on an everyday basis to go forward with this lighting business?
I mean, I think I would, if I had to kind of do a quick answer to that, I think it would be about natural light, and that probably is the thing that drew me here.
Absolutely.
And that is the light that inspires me mostly, but obviously, like most of us, what catches my eye can range, hugely in terms of different forms of light. But I just love the way daylight can create moments when you're not expecting them. With artificial light, you manipulate it. But with daylight, it manipulates
It
you.
relates to you. Yeah. I never thought about that, actually. That's a good thing. And any final thoughts for the future? Whoever is watching, there are going to be a lot of youngsters, young designers who might be inspired by you. Or I'm sure they're going to be inspired by you. So any kind of messages that you'd like to give for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think stay curious. There's a huge amount of knowledge and just life experience that's being shared, and I think it's all there for you. You just need to access it, and don't be afraid to reach out and contact people. I know that when I was in the early stages of my career, I sometimes held back because I thought I might look foolish, ask a silly question, but I genuinely believe there is no such thing as a silly question. Those silly questions can be really, really useful for everyone. So, ask them and get in touch.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. So this is again Amardeep Dugar signing off with Ruth Kelly Waskett. I think this was a kickstart of our interview series. Bye-bye. Have a good day.